In this video, we will show you how to replace your front flex hose on this Nissan Altima. The process for one side of the vehicle is the exact same thing as the other. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we'll have to do is safely raise and support the front of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. Once you've done that, we'll continue on to removing our center cover. Take hold of that, give it a light tug, and remove it from the vehicle. Continue on to removing all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts and then the wheel. With the wheel out of the way, we have a clear view of our front flex hose. Before we start disconnecting everything, it's a good idea to clean the mating surfaces. Up along the top, you have the area that connects to your steel brake line. It's common to have some debris in this area. Go ahead and clean it down. After you have it cleaned down, spray it with some penetrant. Once you've done that, make your way down to where the flex hose connects to the caliper and do the exact same thing. Let's give this one a quick blast. It's down here. Now that we have that sprayed, let's make our way to our bleeder screw area. Remove your protective boot, assuming you have one. Give it a quick squeeze, make sure it's soft and pliable. You do want to reuse this. Use a small pick. Make your way around where the bleeder screw connects to your caliper. It's common to have some rust or rot in this area. Go ahead and pick it clean and then use some penetrant here. All right, let's let this sit and do its job. Now that we've done that, let's put a collection bucket under this area. Continue on with a 10mm. Turn this counterclockwise to break it free. We're waiting to see a slow trickle of fluid coming out, and then we'll close the bleeder screw. Once you're sure that the bleeder screw can open, go ahead and close that. Now that we know that our bleeder screw breaks free, the next thing we'll have to do is open this up. Make our way inside the passenger compartment and have something that we can press down on that brake pedal all the way to the floor and hold it there. You can use a stick or a pry bar, whatever you might happen to have handy. Now, so I can control the direction of the flow of fluid here, I'm just going to put my apparatus on. I'll open this up, make my way into the passenger compartment, and press on that brake pedal. Fluid will make its way into my collection receptacle. I'll rest that directly against the seat, back in the wheel well. We'll close our bleeder screw. We will have to reopen it. We don't have to make it very tight. Now let's follow the flex hose. You have a mounting point at the strut, but we'll continue up to where it connects onto our steel brake line. Use a 10mm flare end wrench to break this line free. You may find that while you're trying to turn the fitting, the line itself tries to twist. Be extremely careful not to twist the line and cause damage, otherwise you have to replace it. Take your time and use penetrant as needed. Going to work this back and forth. I'm seeing I have some movement here, and I just noticed that the line broke free from this actual fitting. I'm not concerned that I'm going to cause any damage to the line, so I'll continue on by removing it. You can use a wire brush in this area if you need to clean up the threads. You can switch wrenches if you need to open end. At this point, it feels as though it's pretty much broken free. It just can't come up and out of there because it's being restricted. At this point, we'll continue on to removing this clip. To remove this, you can use some pliers or even a small prying device. Gently make your way in between and pull this straight outward away from the vehicle. Let's give that a quick inspection. Clean it up. Set it aside. You will be reusing this. Just give the area a quick wipe if you have any debris like I do here. Take hold of the flex hose, give it a little wiggle, and pull it down and out of this area. At this point, you want to inspect both ends. The part that really matters is the steel brake line. You want to ensure that it is still in good, reusable condition and it's not rotted or damaged in any way. This one looks fine. Let's continue on with the flex hose. Follow it down to its mounting point on the strut. This locking clip, same thing. Take hold of it, pull it straight out and away. Quick inspection. Take hold of that brake hose, give it a wiggle, and pull it out and away from that strut. Now we can follow this down to where it connects onto our front caliper. Making our way down here, we'll be using our 12mm to remove the banjo bolts. Keep in mind there could still be brake fluid in this area. Have your collection bucket under this. Inspect the banjo bolts, clean it up, set it aside. Take hold of the flex hose, give it a little wiggle, and remove it from the caliper. At this point, you can continue on by completely draining out that flex hose and disposing of it properly. There it is, friend. The next thing we want to do is clean and inspect the mounting area on the back side of the caliper. It's common to still have a gasket in place. Go ahead and remove that if there's one there, and then clean the area. Wipe it down. Close inspection. The next thing we'll have to do is clean and inspect the banjo bolt. Once again, it's common to have a gasket stuck on this area, typically up against this edge. Go ahead and remove that, clean up the banjo bolt, and then we'll continue on with the installation of our flex hose. The banjo bolt should have a small hole that makes its way here, all the way down and through the center. Let that dry, set it aside. All right, let's get ready for the installation of our brand new front flex hose. When we go to install this, we'll be looking in the center mounting point. Looking along where my thumb is, you can see that there's a small ridge that protrudes downward, and along the top, it's just flat. Let's have this in that position, roll that area so that the downward portion is facing down on the strut, right here. Once you've done so, this area should be opened up and you can continue on with your one locking tab. We'll take this and slide it into position. Double check to make sure this is completely secured. Let's continue on up along the top. For the top, we'll be taking this lower area. Take that and swing it up into position. Once you have it up there, continue on by starting on the line. Once the line is started, you can lock it in with your locking tab. While pressing this hose up to the line, we'll continue on by starting the line into the hose. Commonly, you will have to use your wrench. Just be careful not to cross thread it. Now, with that still loose, we can continue on. We'll be able to pivot this flex hose as needed to get it seated in this body mount. Continue on by twisting and pivoting it up as needed. We'll put in that locking clip. Once the clip's in there, continue on tightening your line. Use my flare wrench once it gets to the end. You just want to make sure it's nice and snug so we don't have any leaks. Let's make our way down to the caliper. Down at the very end, we'll be taking our banjo bolt, one of our brand new gaskets. Take that banjo bolt and slide it straight on through the flex hose. Take the other gasket and put it on the other side of the flex hose. Now we have a gasket on each side of the banjo bolt. We'll take this and align it with the caliper. Start in the banjo bolt by hand and snug it up. Right there is where it feels as though it bottoms out. Right there is where it feels as though it bottomed out. Let's just take it a little bit further. We want to make sure that these gaskets are slightly crushed in towards the flex hose on both sides. Go ahead and take hold of that flex hose, give it a wiggle, and make sure it's properly secured. We'll double check everything all the way up to where it connects onto that steel brake line. Once you've confirmed everything is good down here, let's make our way up into the passenger compartment. Remove pressure from your brake pedal. Before we make our way back into the wheel well, make your way under the hood to your master cylinder. Looking along the top of the master cylinder, you're going to find your cap, and it says to use only .3 brake fluid. Go ahead and take hold of that cap, turn it counterclockwise, inspect the seal, set it aside for now. We're going to top off the brake fluid. Looking at the side here, you can see a maximum line. Go ahead and use a funnel if needed and put that up to the maximum line. After that, continue on by reinstalling your brake fluid cap. At this point, we'll continue on with a manual bleed. This is easiest, having a second person. The second person will be inside of the vehicle. We'll have them carefully pump up that brake pedal till it feels nice and firm. Let us know they're holding it. While they're holding it, I'm going to be down here with my collection receptacle and my 10mm wrench. I'll open up the bleeder screw and we'll watch fluid make its way out through here. Typically, you will see a considerable amount of air bubbles making their way through at first because there is a lot of air in that brake line. We need to continue flushing until there's no more air in the system. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal, please. Holding. While they're holding, let's go ahead and set this up. Quite a bit of air there. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal again. Holding. It's looking a little better. Let's continue on. Go ahead and pump. I saw one tiny air bubble. Let's continue on. Go ahead and pump. You can release. At this point, I'll remove my apparatus. For good measure, let's continue on by doing this one more time out in the open so you can see. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal. As you could tell, we had a steady stream of fluid coming out with no air bubbles. Continue on by cleaning up your mess and reinstalling your bleeder screw cover. You can release that brake pedal. Continue on to reinstalling your wheel. Start on all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts. Bottom them out, get the wheel safely back down on the ground, and then we'll torque each of these to 83 foot-pounds. Let's torque these in a crisscross manner. Torqued. If you have a hubcap, go ahead and put that on now. You want to pay attention to the valve stem hole. This is your valve stem. Let's go ahead and align that and press this into position. Double check to make sure it's secured all the way around so this does not fall off while you're driving down the road. Let's make our way back up under the hood. Let's continue on to topping off that brake fluid. We'll bring it up to the maximum line with .3 brake fluid. Once you feel as though you have it at that maximum line, reinstall the brake fluid cover. After that, you can go ahead and close the hood, pump up the brake pedal one last time, and then take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.